Hey guys, welcome back to Tell Me Everything with Lance, episode 61. I have a special guest on today. Can I say you got engaged? She literally got engaged like 24 hours ago. Yay!
I love how you're asking. Can I? And then you just say it.
Guys, Marah is one of my dearest, oldest, goodest friends. Doesn't even make sense. We have been... First of all, our friendship started on a summer day in Mykonos back in July of 2019.
Oh my God, you even remember the date?
I remember the date.
Shit, it was
at Kahlua.
Oh yeah, and you remember the place,
yeah,
everything.
I remember the place. It was around like 6 p.m. You guys had a beach day there, and I came there because we have mutual friends, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Lana," and you're like, "Hello, weirdo." No, I'm kidding. It's like, who is this energetic
And you just
person?
landed, I think.
I just landed. I came straight to the beach club because I'm a psychotic person.
Of course. Typical you.
I'm a psychotic person.
And you came with all the energy in the world. I'm like, okay.
You're like, who is this girl? Who is this person? Marah, guys, and I have had a beautiful 5-6 year friendship, and this day was coming.
Yeah.
We knew this day was coming where she was going to be on the
eventually.
podcast. It was coming. So Marah, guys, is a clinical dietitian. She works here in the UAE in Dubai at a clinic. She's very passionate about intuitive eating, about being balanced. Keyword here, guys, because she does eat burgers and fries once in a while. And we're going to get into all that and what it means. But today, we're going to discuss what it means to feel empowered by the way you feel and look, and fuel your body with foods, exercise, inner work and outer work, because I think they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Marah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy you're here.
I'm happy. I'm here as well.
So happy
Finally,
you're
we
here.
did it.
Finally, we did it.
It was a long time coming.
Because either now, and also I will also say she's now a content creator.
Yeah, I just started. So.
But you're trying to empower people.
Yeah,
I mean, what is you would say your mission now? Like, because you worked in the UK, you were in the UK for a bit, then you made the transition to coming into Dubai.
Yeah.
Which I think would probably have two different types of landscapes.
Completely different.
Eating, walking, all the things. But what really, even before that, made you feel like, you wanted to take this career path into being a clinical dietitian and like learning about nutrition and food?
So many reasons, and I figure it out as I go along. But the reason why I wanted to start was literally it started in my teen years. I think we can all say we had these body image issues, and we didn't know how to eat, and we had that pressure from society and family and whatever, how you have to look. For me, the main thing was I really found what I ate impacted the way I felt and the way I studied and the way I looked at myself. So it wasn't just about my size, but it was also like, okay, if I ate like crap one day and I binged, I actually felt the next day the effects I had. Like, I was really in a bad mood. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to wear like any nice clothes. I just felt really horrible about myself. So this is the main reason. Like, I saw a huge link between what you ate and how you felt. So this is why I got into it. So it was either being a dietitian for me or going down the psychology route. But then I'm like, no, but I want to understand food.
Yeah.
I really want to get down to it, understand the science behind food. And I know that there's like so many myths about the way you should be eating and the way you should look. So I really wanted to understand that more. And when we were younger, at our time, social media wasn't really a thing. But we used to see, I grew up here.
In Dubai, yeah.
But you would see on TV like all of these stars, and then like the Hollywood stars, and you would see like, oh, get skinny like this model,
the
or
Dukan
like this.
diet, the Kellogg cereal diet.
Oh my God, and I tried everything, by the way, everything.
Literally all.
And it wouldn't work, and nothing would work. So it's like, okay, I want to study this now. So this is why I got into it. I also had sort of an eating disorder. I don't want to say it was as extreme as anorexia, but it was more towards that, where I lost like 10, 15 kilos. I looked extremely slim. I was like 40 something kilos, which for me is, for my height, that's like way too skinny. And I lived like that for years. And eventually I got out of it, thankfully, but it's hard. So
how did you feel like you were able to pull yourself out of it?
Studying it really helps. But I didn't fully get over the fear of eating until, by the way, my late 20s. So it's something we as women, or even men, like we suffer with for ages. And even though I studied it, it takes time to apply what you studied on yourself.
100%.
So, yeah.
100%. I have a question, because we're Dubai babies. Like, we grew up here. And we lived in a very, like back then more than now, like, a lot of like the out of mentality society mentality
Yeah.
of you have to look a certain way. Like I've been very open about on this podcast about it, but I even had Grace on the podcast and we discussed all about this, about like, you know, like the society or like image of what women should look like in terms of like their weight and like even my boobs like were a problem from like, you know what I mean, like why do you like صدرك كبير, you know what I mean, like even that. So I feel like, and I want to get your thoughts on this, do you feel like the pressures that we've had like from our society, forget social media even, because back then it didn't exist, but like families, mothers, whatever it is, kind of those pressures kind of in like how do you kind of analyze what we were like seeing and told growing up and then going to university and leaving to the UK? Did you feel like, oh wow, we were told such like to be in a constrained box, but that's not actually how it is?
I think it's like that a lot in Dubai.
I think
we live in a bubble here, so what we experience here is very different to other parts of the world. Like for example, we generally don't cook for ourselves. We don't understand what is healthy eating. We don't know, you know, our families don't even know, especially when you're young. And what's so important to remember is like the hormonal changes we go through in puberty is similar. It's not the same, but it's the same level as the hormonal changes you go through in menopause. So you're going through all these body changes. I did not know that. Like your estrogen, progesterone levels change a lot. It goes up and down. It fluctuates a lot. So your body changes. Your body changes when you're going through menopause. You know, women feel like they're getting that stomach and everything. And your body changes when you're going through puberty. So you're going to have to eat in a certain way, and people don't understand that. It's just about how you look. Oh, you're 5 kilos overweight. Oh, you're 8 kilos overweight. That's not a big deal. That's really not a big deal. And it's a big deal only if you're morbidly obese, you know? Then, of course, you're at risk of diabetes. You're at risk of so many things. But if you're just 8 kilos overweight, eventually you will lose it. Like, eventually in life, you'll figure it out and you will want to lose it if that's what you want to do, you know? So I feel like, back to your question. Sorry, I know I went off topic. No, I love this because I actually have another question after you. So finish your answer. Anyway, so we're here with our family. We have a certain way of eating where everything's prepared for you. Your mom thinks as long as you're not eating carbs, everything's great. Oh, let's not eat carbs. 100%. Even though you need the carbs, you're 100%. Going through puberty, you need the carbs. 100%. So, like, the way you're eating is very much restricted to what you see at home. Everything's prepared for you. You don't even understand how to cook food. For sure. You go to uni, you don't have that pressure anymore the same way. And you're like, oh, I can have this burger whenever I want. I can have this chocolate. You end up binging. Copy paste what I did. Yeah, and you end up binging. Copy paste. Yeah, and you don't understand how to cook. You're eating out. You don't have someone monitoring how 100%. You're eating, and you gain weight. I think a lot of us can say we gained in our first year of uni. That's when we gained the most weight. 100%. For me, I gained the most weight, and I'd have that pressure every time I come back to Dubai to visit to lose weight. Yep. And that goes on and on and on and on. I was on a diet every time I came back to Dubai. And you get that stress. Instead of enjoying your time, you're like, oh, but I look this way and my jeans fit this way. And it's so unhealthy. And then you start binging. Yeah. You told me you were reading I have two questions here, but you told me you were reading a book on binge eating. Yeah. You did. Because binge eating, I've had my own relationship with binge eating, which is like, and I've gone in and out of this cycle where I get into a loop. Like, as in, like, I feel like shit about myself. I then resort to food to fill that void or use it as, like, love or, like, comfort, let's say. Yeah. Then I overeat, and the next morning, I feel like shit, or I feel really badly about myself. Yeah. And then it's such a hard, because I know there's different types of binge eating, but that was the one that I was kind of going through. Yeah. And it's such a hard cycle to break out of, like, through different phases of what my life, whether it was job, family, relationships, whatever. Yeah. It's like come and gone in my life. Yeah. What is your perspective on binge eating? And if someone is listening to this and is like, that's the cycle that I'm going through, what would kind of be your advice to like get out of it? I think the main thing with binge eating, we need to differentiate. Sometimes we binge eat in a healthy way in terms of like it's a social setting. Yes. You overeat. So that's not the binge eating we're talking about. The binge eating I think we're talking about is the one you do when you're alone. Correct. Specifically when you're alone, you have your time. You consume a huge amount of food without thinking about it. Yeah. You reach a point where you're so full, like disgustingly full, you want to throw up. And the next day, we feel like crap, right? And you feel guilt. You feel guilt. And it's so interesting. The reason why I'm like reading about this now, it's like even though people feel that horrible feeling of guilt and ashamed and fat, if you want to say that word, and everything, then you do it again. You do it again a few days later, a week later, 2 weeks later. Sometimes there's always a trigger. You might be, everyone's different. So you might be feeling sad. You might be feeling lonely. You might be bored even. Everyone has their different triggers. And
but I think you said it right, what your triggers are. You have to also identify what is triggering you to binge eat.
And also another trigger, actually, I'm thinking about now as well, that I'm reading on, is the whole dieting, the constant dieting that leads you to binge eat, because you're restricting your body. Your body is hungry. It needs not just the calories, but the right macronutrients, the carbs, the fats, the protein. When you're constantly dieting and excluding things, you're going to binge. It's going to happen. You're like, okay, now I can finally have all the food. And there's this term that I always used to say, even for myself, as someone who binge ate a lot, kharbane. If I ate all of this, let me just continue, and the diet starts tomorrow. And then you binge again. Oh no, but tomorrow I'll start. Like that's unhealthy. 100%. So I think the whole mindset of dieting as well is it's what causes you to binge. It's like one thing that leads to that.
That's actually a very true statement, by the way. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you're also trying to change the narrative, and I see it through your content, of the word diet.
Yeah.
It's more of a healthy lifestyle, intuitive eating.
Exactly. Because we can still eat everything we want and lose weight if that's what we want to do, or be healthy, or even if you're diabetic, you can still have all these foods. But you need to be more intuitive with how you're feeling and what your body needs, and enjoying things in the right way, like the right portion sizes. It's not an all or nothing approach, which is how I used to be. Like, I ate a burger, I might as well eat all the fries. No, have the burger and have some of the fries. And then when you realize you're full, stop eating. You don't have to finish everything.
So what is your definition of intuitive eating, and how do you practice it?
So it's a way of eating where you're like you have to be more self-aware of how your body is feeling. So when you're eating something, understand why you're eating it. And then while you're eating as well, like, see when you're full. Like, think about it. Don't just eat really quickly. That's why it's also good to take your time with eating. It's not about it takes time to realize that you're full. It takes about 20 minutes for your gut to reach that brain connection and realize that you're full. But it's also to be more intuitive. Like, you know what? I had enough. I don't need an extra portion. I'm okay. So that's like the main key thing. It's very different to the word dieting. You can still be on a diet, but in an intuitive way.
I want to ask you though, how you practice intuitive eating, because I admire always, since our entire friendship, I've always admired how you balance your life. Always.
So
because you know me, I'm an extreme human. I've always been extreme. And I've gone through phases where I was like on the wedding diet, I was on the bachelorette diet, I was like,
everything.
Then remember I was on newlywed life, and then I gained weight, and then I was like, but I need to go on a diet, I need to cut out carbs. So I feel like I've always gone through phases where I've like been in different diets and phases. Hella this year, I can comfortably say I understand more what it means to intuitive, like you said, like have the burger, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
For example. But I feel like when you're on the weekend, like during the week, it might be a bit easier because you're like on a routine, you have work, you have your workouts. It's the weekend where I think I can speak for a lot of people, is like where you struggle, because that's where you go out, you have lunch, you go to dinner, you go out, you go to a bar, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So like, how do you kind of manage?
Yeah.
Do you not restrict is it about not restricting yourself so much during the week that you feel like you binge on the weekend?
Yeah, I used to do that, where the whole week I'm so good, and then on the weekend I go all out, and it ruins all the progress that I've made during the week. So now I'm like, it's more balanced. Like during the week, I'm eating more. Actually, I found that eating more has helped me to stop my binges, for example.
That's so interesting.
Literally eating more. Like what I used to do is, not eat all week. And then by the time the weekend comes, I'm so hungry. I'm going out for a meal. I'm going to overdo it. Or I'm at home and I don't want to go out, and I end up eating so much. So now what I found is, like, if you eat more and nourish your body better during the week, the weekends eventually will be more regulated. And one big thing I had to let go of is we always feel like we have those 2-3 kilos to lose, right? We always feel like,
Babe, right now I'm I have 2 kilos to
You see, everyone. And by the you'll lose it, and then you'll still say, oh no, but another 2-3.
Yes.
If you want to stop binging, you need to stop trying to lose weight.
Through my soul. sleeping too. I saw you looking through my arm.
Everyone's like, I'm like that as well.
Yeah,
Even with all the knowledge and nutrition that I have, I'm still like that sometimes. It's like a battle you have to fight. But it's like, if you want to stop binging, you have to let go of the fact that you want to lose weight. Because naturally, eventually, when you stop binging, your body will naturally lose those few extra kilos that came from binging. But you have to let go of it. And I think letting go of that, letting go of that is difficult as well, because you're letting go control a little bit, you know?
And it's control. I was just going to say control.
Yeah.
Because now, like, you feel like you, like, are in control, like, the things, like, but I also feel like when you say, like, I have 2 to 3 kilos to lose, you're giving yourself, in a way, motivation, like, okay, stick on the diet, but then binge happens. You're in this, like, toxic cycle.
Yeah.
What are ways that you've been able to get rid of that? Is it journaling? Is it working out? Is it, because I feel like it's all psychology. You said that you wanted to do psychology or study, like, nutrition. And for me, I'm like, you're right, because it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much interconnected. So I feel like probably through your practices, you have developed and understood the psychology of food.
Yeah.
It's literally psychology, because I think when we tell ourselves, I need to lose weight, it's, like, so negative. And I feel like we're, like, putting down ourselves.
Yeah. And the term just going on a diet, it's like, it's natural human behavior. When you restrict yourself from something, you want it even more. And that applies to everything in life, not just food, right? Like, if you restrict yourself from buying something that you want, you really want it then, you know? If you restrict yourself from, I can't even think of proper examples, but it's natural human behavior. So if you restrict yourself from wanting a food, you're going to obsess about it so much that you're going to end up overdoing it when you allow yourself. Now, I have the mentality where, like, oh, I feel like having a cookie. Okay, I'm going to have a cookie. Maybe I'll have half of it. And that actually stopped me later from binging.
Wow, it's so interesting.
So you need to actually eat more and listen to, okay, this is what I feel like having. I'm going to have it. So later on, I don't overdo it. Another thing that really, really helped me is, and what I'm learning through this book and studying more about it, is if you're still someone who is binging. So when I was still binging, I prepared my binges in advance. When I was, like, able to think about it, I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to binge. I'm going to stop being unrealistic and saying I'm dieting and whatever. I would plan my binges. So I would go buy, there's a lot of, like, ice cream right now that is low calorie.
Yes.
It's not good to eat all of it, even though it's low calorie. It has a huge laxative effect and it's super bloating. And you still don't feel good overdoing it. But I started buying these tubs of ice cream. I started planning my binges in advance. I started preparing a big plate of food with a lot of food, but it's still not as bad as if I didn't plan it. And I would have all of it, you know? And then slowly, by doing these things, I stopped binging. Like, it really, really helped. I feel the more self-care you do, the more planning you do, slowly the bad habits will break.
Because it's also mental.
It is.
If you're planning it, you're aware.
Yeah, you're aware.
Because you feel like you just said, when you're binging, you're not thinking.
You're not thinking
about it. You're not in the moment. You're not even thinking. It's absent-minded. Like, it's not mindfulness.
Exactly. And everyone's different. For me, I'm not someone that likes to journal. Like, I know it's good for you. There's benefits and everything. And there's a lot of, you journal. I know that. For me, I'm like,
crying, because it's so hard to get me sometimes to journal. I'm like, damn, I gotta write down my thoughts now.
Exactly. And, like, you're not always in touch with your emotions.
100%.
So you're like, I'm in a good mood today. I don't have my period. I'm not PMSing. Like, I feel fine. So it's journaling is one strategy, and they talk about it in the book. Every time you binge, write down how you felt and why you did it. See if there's any triggers. And one solution was, for example, if you're someone who is getting triggered because you're bored, then keep yourself busy. That does work in theory. For me personally, I don't believe in that. You need to learn how to be bored and have nothing to do and still not binge. You need to be more in control. So plan your binges in advance. Stop this whole dieting. See, like, what you did in your past that's causing you to binge now. It's a lot of psychology involved. Like, we all know what we should and shouldn't be eating. I don't believe there's something you shouldn't be eating technically. But
you mean like
a healthy,
it
we all know what healthy lifestyle looks like, but you need to implement it in a way that works for you. And I think also now, like, with the whole social media, it's like...
That's the topic I want to get into.
Oh, my God.
It's draining, Marah.
It's draining. Even for me,
I know. Like, it's draining.
Like, if one more person tells the public to have apple cider vinegar, I might go and, like, smack that person. Like, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. There is some science that it helps and everything, but it's not strong enough to start eating everything you want, but then you have apple cider vinegar.
Of course not.
It doesn't make sense.
But that's the problem. I feel like social media is such a good thing, but also is so detrimental to our mental health because you're getting an influx of information.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's correct? TikTok goes off.
Yeah.
I was in bed and my husband was like listening to like the sounds of what I'm hearing. He's like, bro, no wonder you're like this.
Yeah.
No wonder you think like this. Look at what you're what's feeding your brain every day. And I was like, shit, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so toxic for us, but it's so hard to Ozempic. Another thing.
Yeah.
Everyone on the internet tells you to go on Ozempic.
Look, it is really helpful for some people.
I agree.
It is, yeah.
I agree.
But it needs to be, I only push for it with for people who are being seen by dietitians or doctors where it's being monitored in a healthy way. Because you're going to, with the amount of weight, everyone loses a bit of muscle when they lose weight. Okay,
Totally.
it's a given.
Yeah.
But on Ozempic, because you're losing so much weight so quickly, sometimes a lot of it is muscle, and people don't know that they should still be having their protein. They still need to exercise. You need to create those habits. So once you come off of Ozempic, you're like...
you're able to maintain the weight that
exactly.
you've lost.
So Ozempic, I think, is more of a medical thing, and a lot of people turned it to non-medical. I think that's the issue here, right? It's like people are promoting
100%.
it, but you're not... That's not a solution for everyone. It needs to be monitored. It needs to be monitored medically, nutritionally, everything.
But you're also seeing like these skinny, fit men and women using it and abusing it.
Yeah.
But now it's put I think a perception in people's head, like the regular person of me. Like I went on Ozempic for a month last year.
Yeah.
I lost like 2 kilos. I was like, man, I could have just eaten healthy and went to the gym
And
I could have
weight.
lost those 2 kilos in a month.
Yeah.
I now have been eating healthy for a month. I lost 2 kilos.
Yeah,
You know, like or like intuitive eating and like I'm still eating. Like yesterday I had fries. Like into it, but I think like it's like such a quick fix and you're not fixing the core problem.
Exactly.
That's what I also
and
feel
some
like
people
it's done.
even they get so skinny and they think that's going to cause happiness. It's not. You need to accept how you look as well. Like we all have a weight that our body is comfortable at.
Yes.
For example, I'm 60 kilos. If I go below 60, I'm starving. Like I would love to be 58, 57 kilos. Sure, I would love it, but my body doesn't like it. I've tried and I feel I'm starving. Khalas, 60 is my comfortable weight. I no longer try to be something I'm not. But it takes work to get there. It does.
Work.
Yeah. And I've even had like a lot of personal trainers, for example, in the past. I go to the gym 3-4 times a week. They train me. And I didn't like their approach either. It's like...
Why?
I don't... And this is why people need to choose a coach or a mentor or a dietitian or a doctor, someone that really has, like, I didn't like how strict they were. And you need to choose, again, like a coach mentor that is compassionate, that understands that it's not just about, oh, this is good for you, this is bad for you. We have lives. You can't do everything perfectly. The coach is trying to, in the gym, they want you to get abs. And it's like, but that doesn't work for me. I might get abs, but then like it's not sustainable and I'm going to be in this vicious cycle. So you really need to get a coach that knows what they're talking about and understands human behavior and has that compassion, has that sympathy and empathy for you. Not every coach has it. I've had maybe 5 different trainers and I fell out with all of them. And I don't think I'm the problem.
100%
I don't think
you're
I'm
not
the problem at all.
I think they also...
They're so strict. If I miss one gym session,
they're
it's like...
strict, and also... We all are working people, right?
Yeah.
We have jobs. It's not going to the gym is not like our life.
It's not even about the gym only. It's like they're strict about what you're eating.
Food,
Me with my patients, I'm not strict. I'm like, okay, what are you eating? Where are you from? Because a lot of what you're eating comes from your culture as well.
That's true.
And then I build a plan for them that's based all around that. I make sure their favorite foods are still there. Their cultural foods are still there. I'm not going to expect them to eat chicken and broccoli. I think that approach works for some people. Some people that want that sort of physique, some people that are very into the gym, these strict rules do work. But for people like us who have that binge eating, who have that body image issues, it doesn't work. And you can't put a blanket approach to everyone, which I think a lot of coaches do. I'm not bad-mouthing anyone, but I'm just trying to tell people, choose someone that knows what they're talking about, has experience with someone with your issues. My coach might have been amazing for, I don't know, a man in his 30s that wants to get really fit or has specific sport goals, but it wasn't good for me. Someone who had anorexia, who had binge eating, who took ages to accept the weight that she's at, who went through all of these. So you need to choose someone that knows you and dealt with your condition in a good way.
Do you think it's an ongoing thing to deal with, like, Do you think it's an on? Because right now you just said something. You said you are like, it took me a while to get comfortable with my weight and how I look and eating and whatever. Do you not think though it's an ongoing journey?
It
or
is.
do you feel like it's like you get to that mindset like you're set and done? Because I always fear of the relapse.
Yeah.
You know, and then being okay with the relapse.
Yeah.
But you're in such a strong state mentally that like you're okay with the relapse.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's an ongoing struggle or ongoing thing, or you kind of change your perception?
It's part of growth. Like we can never stop growing. We can never stop. So
unfortunately.
No, exactly. It's never like, Khalas, I've learned
Yeah.
everything. No, you need to continue working on yourself. And if you do have a relapse, it's not the end of the world. We are going to have ups and downs in our lives. And that comes also with the food. There's going to be ups and downs also. That's completely normal. And I think it's okay to accept that. Like, do I always now eat well? No, I do have days where I really overeat. Literally yesterday, after the whole engagement happened.
After the whole engagement, casually got proposed to.
We ordered like around 36 pieces of sushi.
As you should.
And we pretty much finished the whole thing. I was happy. I was like, okay, cool. But I woke up today, I'm like, and I weighed myself. I was a kilo heavier. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, it's fine. It's okay. I will lose it again. It's just water weight as well. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't mean today I'm going to eat badly just because yesterday I did. Whereas the old me, I ate badly yesterday and I feel like crap now. I gained a kilo. I'm going to eat more. And then it's like this whole vicious cycle
comes.
You know? So you have to let go a little bit. I did feel that like pain inside when I saw the kilo more, even though I know everything. But like I'm talking about binge eating and how it's not important to weigh yourself all the time. But it's hard to let go and you have to keep reminding yourself
100%.
that.
And thank you for saying that though, because that makes you real.
You have to.
No, but thank you for sharing that because that really makes you real. Yeah. It makes you real and it humanizes kind of what we go through and not just talk. So thank you for sharing that because like whenever I weigh myself, I do the same thing. I've gained a kilo. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like I gained a kilo just from the weekend I had. Yeah. But then you go, what's water weight? If you start to like decrease the calories maybe you had today, and you don't get into the loop of like you said, okay, now I'm going to eat like shit today. Yeah. Because I ate like badly yesterday.
And I wouldn't even say restrict the calories the next day. Have the calories your body needs. Otherwise you'll binge again if that's your issue. No, adi, have the calories. We all have an amount of calories. For me, it's around 2,000 calories a day and I don't gain weight. You know, I'm still going to consume these 2,000 today. I'm not going to go low just because yesterday, because then I'm scared I'm going to binge later.
Yeah, you're
right. So adapt to the way that works for you, but also get advice from people. If it's hard to do all of this on your own. For me, I had to study it for years, and I'm still studying it, and I'm still reading about it. So get advice from someone that's trusted, that knows what they're talking about, not just someone that's popular on Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. And there's even people that call themselves doctors and they're not doctors when you look into it. But on Instagram, you would never know that, you know? Also, the one thing I wish I could break is these people that say, oh, eat this, you're going to lose weight. Oh, eat that, this is going to happen. You cannot. No food is that powerful. I wish there was a food that powerful. Yet I can say I'm going to eat this apple and I'm going to lose 10 kilos. There's no such thing. There's no such thing at all.
So when you say that, but like they always say, a fact is protein keeps you fuller and is better than eating, right?
It's not protein only. It's also the carbs, the fiber. Actually, that's what keeps you full. So it's not just, obviously.
See, we're learning people.
Like, I mean, look, to eat so much protein only and get full, you need a huge amount of it. You need a big amount. So whatever big portion you eat of anything in the world, it's going to get you full. It's not specifically just because it's protein. You need that fiber. That's what puffs up in your stomach.
Well, because you're seeing on TikTok, get your 100 grams of protein to get
you. You do need it.
But it's like, get your protein. It's all about protein. And they don't talk about fat. They don't talk about carbs.
No, you need the healthy fats for your cholesterol. And cholesterol works as a hormone in your body. We all need it. Men, women, for our estrogen levels, progesterone, testosterone for men. You need the healthy fats. You need it. But you also need fiber and you also need protein. You cannot just isolate one food group. So most of the time, I have carbs in my meal. Mm-hmm. And when I don't, it's just a coincidence that I don't, and I'll have it later that day or something. You know, it's never intentional now when I don't have carbs.
That's a good thing to know, by the way. I now eat carbs. I will tell you something. In the last 2 weeks, I started to eat so I bring my lunch to work every day. I cook at home for dinner. This is usually my week. And now I put in carbs in my lunch and dinner. not like I weigh it out, to be honest. I'm weighing out everything.
But you have to start somewhere.
That's somewhere. So now I'm like, you know what? Screw this. Like, I'm so sick of my yo-yoing. Like, I'm going to eat balanced.
Yeah.
So I started eating carbs. Marah, I lost 5 centimeters off my waist.
Oof.
I lost 2 centimeters off my chest. And I lost 1.5 kilos.
Do you see? That's all the fiber.
And I ate carbs.
What carbs did you go for?
I ate, I'm just going to think of yesterday because I can't think too far back. But like yesterday I had chicken thighs and rice, saffron rice.
Okay.
Half a cup of saffron rice.
Yeah.
And like 2 chicken thighs. The day before I ate, trying to think of like the recipes. Like I had it was like a plantive pasta recipe. But like I'm eating pasta.
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
And was it white or brown?
Brown.
Brown pasta.
Brown
okay,
pasta.
more fiber.
More fiber, yes.
Yeah.
I ate like chicken, grilled chicken. I did a steak salad. I did kebabs one day.
Yeah.
I did in the morning protein pancakes with like coconut flour. Like, but for me to be eating this much carbs is crazy.
Yeah.
But yet I'm losing weight.
And people argue that it doesn't work, but I think they're scared to lose that control.
I think so too.
You're letting go of something your whole life you were told that it's bad. It's scary to let go of that. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, girl.
Seriously, I know that's a big deal for you.
It's a big deal. And I like, it shocked me because for me also in my head, I thought eat salads at lunch at work because, you know, brain fog.
Yeah.
I suffer from that.
Okay.
I do. When I eat heavy lunches at work, I suffer from brain fog.
Fair.
So I've always been a veggie girl, salad girl. But it doesn't keep me full because then I come at night and I gorge. Like I eat, you know, I come home for dinner and I'm like, I'm starving.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But now that I'm like just introducing this, like the other day I had, this is another recipe. It was sweet potato and like green chili.
Yeah.
So it was like ground beef with like sweet potato.
Yeah.
Sweet potato's a carb.
Yeah.
So I had that together with like coriander. It was fantastic.
And did you get that dip?
0.
Because it was a controlled portion.
Didn't get, exactly. And I'm weighing it.
You probably associated the dips with when you're overeating the carbs.
Yeah,
but in the right portions, it gives you energy. And you, especially for you work out before.
I know. I work out every morning.
Yeah, so you need the carbs.
And I think I also want to talk about like workouts.
Yeah.
Because I think, and you know me, I was a berries girl till the day I die. Like, I was hardcore hit.
Yeah.
Now I've started doing Pilates.
Yeah.
I walk. I've now introduced all these new things. Do you feel like, because we were told hit, run, hit, so much high impact on the body.
Yeah.
That like when you're doing low impact, because you walk now, I see you're on kite.
Yeah.
You've always walked, but like now I'm seeing you're like posting about that you walk on kite.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that has more long-term benefits than the hits?
I feel like for me, it's just more sustainable, honestly.
Okay, yeah.
I was doing HIIT a lot. I don't think HIIT is bad for you, by the way. I don't think it disrupts your hormones. I know a lot of people say that it does, but we don't actually have research that supports that. So you'll see everything I say. I do the background research. I don't just believe anything, but it's doing what works for you. So for example, my sister does HIIT all the time and she's able to maintain her weight and it makes her feel amazing. Great, continue it. For me, I was doing so much HIIT and I don't know, I still do it about once a week now.
Same.
Twice a week max. I enjoy spinning. I enjoy the whole concept of a dark room, loud
with, like,
music.
Yeah.
But do it at your own pace. The one thing that I found is if you're in a class, let's say berries, they tell you do, 20 burpees, 20 squats, do it on repeat 5 times. I take my time with it. I don't care about hitting it 5 times. You don't want to overstress your body as well. And also if you want to build that muscle, you really need to have that mind-muscle connection and do the move and really feel everything working so that it can grow. So that's what I really believe in. Now, if you're someone that likes HIIT, continue with it. I don't think it's necessarily bad for you. For you, you enjoy Pilates now.
I'm a carver, former girly pop, but I have to say the strength training that I have built in that class compared to berries, again,
because it's slow.
Because it's slow burn.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn.
You feel it.
It's all the muscle that I'm building. I like have little abs here now. Like it's crazy. But also I think because I have a high stress job, I feel like putting more stress on my body through HIIT classes. That's why now like my schedule is like I do 3 to 4 times a week reformer. Once a week running because I love the runner's high. And I try and walk every day.
Okay.
That's it.
Walking is needed for everyone.
By the way, we don't do it enough.
We don't do it enough. And I feel like we don't only need 10,000 steps. We need more like 12 to 14,000 steps.
I agree.
That's why when we travel and we eat so much, we actually end up losing weight because you've walked so much.
Crazy.
It's a form of cardio. You're burning calories. It's slow paced. You enjoy it. You can still listen to music. You can be on your phone. You can distract yourself with things when you're walking, which is what I do. I listen to a podcast. But you're not going to be working out listening to a podcast, you know? So I found things that make it work for me, but I'm not going to go now online and say never do HIIT, only do walking. No, I found what works for me. Some people...
It's very personalized.
It's very personalized.
And we don't realize that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of stuff on content online, and that's why I really like your content. Now you're just starting out, but you're speaking to everyone's, like, you're speaking to the majority of people. I feel like people online are talking to very targeted, specific type of people.
And that works
I can't
sometimes.
Relate to them, though. Like, you know, like sometimes people can't relate to it.
So also when it comes to working out, so I used to do weight training 3-4 times a week. I was obsessed with it. I still am. It makes me, you know, the runner's high that you get?
Yes.
I get that from weight training.
Okay,
when I'm actually lifting and like, oh, really? For me, I love it. I actually get that high and I'm listening to music and I feel good and you see yourself in the muscle flexing and you just feel great about it. But what I found was it was making me so hungry. Like if I was told by trainers, eat this much, that much, I was starving. Like they say, if you eat enough calories, enough macronutrients that your body needs, you won't have those like, you won't feel that hungry, you're nourishing. That isn't right for everyone. You still will have those cravings. And I found out the more I was exercising, and it took me a while to realize this because I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and burn calories.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that toned look of the person I saw on Instagram. And it was making me so hungry. And this is one reason why I switched to just walks now and a few times HIIT, because now I'm able to control my hunger a lot better, and that's what stopped me from binging as well.
Interesting.
And I am going to get back into weight training eventually. I really want to. I love it. But I wanted to first fix the problem I had and understand it. And when I get back to weight training now, twice a week, not more. Because it makes me hungry. Not everyone's like that, but for me, it was starving me.
HIIT makes me hungry.
It was,
HIIT makes me hungry.
You see, for me, HIIT doesn't really do anything.
HIIT makes me hungry.
Yeah.
So I've kind of slowed down on it and done more of the other stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, this was a great podcast.
Really?
I'm really fucking proud of you.
Really? Yay.
A+.
I was
those
like,
reels,
are we going
those
off?
quote reels are going to be... But girl, this is what a good podcast is.
Yeah, you're a very good host, by the way. This is why you should
Thank
do it. Like, you
you.
instantly... I know we're friends, so I felt relaxed. But even if we weren't, it felt more like a conversation.
That's exactly what I wanted to
and
feel
you lead
like.
it well as well. Like,
Thank
you
you.
get back to the point. You get back to the question.
Thanks, girl.
You need
this
to
is my
do
passion
this.
in life.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do in the rest of my life.
You are going to do this.
One day. I'll get there. This will
fully
be my
support.
full-time job.
I fully support.
And I have a podcast studio.
And I want to come back as well.
Yes!
I had so much fun. I'm like, we'll do another one.
No, it's fun. I even had a girl on the other day and was like, this was so much. Like, I don't even know her that well. She's like, this was so much fun. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun.
We should do another one on PCOS. Or we can do a little bit now.
Let's do a little bit now. I want to talk about PCOS and periods.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about periods first, then PCOS, because it kind of overflows.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Flows. So with periods, I saw this posted on the Diary of CEO. I don't know if you watched that episode. It was this woman. She's like a menopause coach.
Okay.
And she was talking about with periods.
Yeah.
How like before you work out, you need to take it easy. First 2 days, take it easy. Then you can go do your hits and whatever. You should be walking, this, that.
Before your period.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this?
So...
And do you feel like you should be eating certain foods before your period? Because I see like the steak thingy that's like online and stuff.
Yeah, what steak thingy?
They say that you should eat steak before your period or on your period.
I mean,
but I don't know,
because
is that
it has,
BS?
it's because, I mean, it's because you're losing iron when you have your periods through the blood. So you're trying to make up for it by having all the steak. So you should be having high iron food, high magnesium foods, things like that. So this is like the theory behind it. Look, if we're looking at actual science, there isn't science that says how you should be exercising and eating at different stages of your cycle. But there is a lot more, and I see good doctors do this as well, like trusted doctors and dietitians, where we're trying to, what we're learning from our experience, we're trying to apply it. So I do work now that different cycles of my different
period cycles,
different stages of my menstrual cycle, I'm eating and working out a bit different. And
your body changes, bro.
And your body changes. Your
body
body
changes. 2 days
changes.
before my period, I look like I have a belly. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, like you naturally have a lot more energy the first 2 weeks of your cycle.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Naturally.
Oh, different human.
Do all the HIIT, do all the running, do
Insane.
everything.
Yeah.
The other 2 weeks, this is back to being intuitive, by the way. The other 2 weeks, you're
It's
lower
true.
in energy. And I used to feel horrible about it. Like, why am I low in energy? Why am I being lazy? Why am I being not productive? And then I understood it's my hormones. And then I started planning my foods and my workouts based on how I'm feeling. So this is what I'm doing. Also, so the first 2 weeks of your cycle, naturally we can, because of the fluctuations in hormones, you're able to have more carbs and, let's say, not gain weight or not puff up and not feel bloated. So those 2 weeks, eat more carbs, so there is some sort of science behind it, but it's not 100% backed up. But I've seen that it does work. I've applied it on myself, I've applied it on my female patients, and I've seen that it does work. So the first 2 weeks focusing on specific groups, the other 2 weeks focusing on more anti-inflammatory foods. But that goes in line with your hormones and how you're feeling and how you're working out. And you'll see it's never just about what you're eating.
Man.
Yeah. You need to.
Because also PCOS. So as you know, I've struggled with PCOS my entire life.
Yeah.
But now I went and did a hormone test. I didn't even tell you this.
Yeah.
I went and did I did a hormone test. All good.
Amazing.
All good.
Mabrouk.
Thank you. But and PCOS, obviously I still have it.
Yeah.
But it's more controlled now, I would say, as it was before. What have I changed? I'll tell you very honestly. I decreased my alcohol consumption.
Okay.
I'll tell you honestly.
Yeah.
I changed out my workouts. I don't know if this is directly related.
Yeah.
Could be more low impact and intuitive eating.
I think it's mainly your eating, honestly, as well.
You think it's mostly my eating?
Yeah. No, I'm sure everything plays a role. The drinking obviously plays a role.
Alcohol,
the eating plays a role. Also, the way you're exercising. So PCOS, when it's not in control, you're under inflammation. You're under that constant stress. You found a way that works for you. You're less stressed, and then your hormones are more controlled.
Yeah.
So it's all related to each other. If you want to get healthier, it's never just about one thing alone.
100%.
We know that now. It's
100%.
like, it's not just nutrition. It's not just exercise. It's stress. It's sleep. It's hormones. It's how you're feeling. It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah, and that worked for you. So you made so many changes, and I think all of that.
I think so, but PCOS is a hard one.
It's a hard one because of all the misinformation.
That's
online.
the problem.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and now they say like 1 in 3 women have it.
It's really common. Yeah, it's really common.
It's really common.
And I think it's not even diagnosed enough. It's diagnosed right enough. It might be even more than that. I don't know. But I've been getting a lot of, and what's really bad is...
Do you get a lot of patients with PCOS?
I do. And the thing is, they don't even realize they need a dietitian because sometimes they're not fully informed that if you eat a certain way, that will fix your PCOS. They're just instantly put on medications. And I don't want to argue with medications. A lot of people need them.
Yes.
Doctors make the call they feel they need. But they also need to tell them it's also chronic stress over time that can make it worse. So you need to manage the food, the exercise, XYZ. And this can be a managed condition. It's not this scary condition where it's going to be difficult to get pregnant or whatever. This
is the misconception that we have online is that it's going to be difficult to get pregnant and I don't know what.
No, if you're healthy,
yeah.
If you're healthy, it's fine.
Yeah, but but I do feel like girly pops with PCOS need to be on top of their eating.
They do.
And it's just a thing we have to live with.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Exactly. But you can manage it.
Of course.
It's fine.
I managed it. We have so many friends that have it.
Yeah. But you put a lot of work into managing it. And you need a mentor and you need someone trusted.
You need a coach.
You need a coach, yeah.
You need someone. Marah, what is one thing you would like our listeners to know before we end the podcast? First of all, follow her. Dietitian Marah.
Yeah, Dietitian Marah.
I'll put it in the show notes. That's number 1.
I might change the name, but I don't
also,
know
guys,
yet.
watch my podcast. You guys, I love you all. 15,000 of you listen to every episode. But why don't you like to watch?
Is this a lot of
Yeah,
really?
the 15,000 of my beautiful listeners.
I've been doing this whole quotations thing. They're not going to understand
I
that
know,
on
but
the
all of them
podcast.
might love to listen. I think it's because they go to work.
They're
on a walk, like the girly pops that like are in action.
I wish I knew that. I would have used different words sometimes.
No, it's okay, but like you guys watch my podcast. I put a lot of effort. Okay, love you. I put a lot of effort into the video. No, I have like 300, 400, 500 people watch.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that a lot of them still listen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, we'll get there.
So the one thing, I don't even have one thing. I have a gazillion things. But what I would say is, please do not fall for just anything you see online. I know people say that a lot, but I genuinely mean it. It's not one thing that's going to fix all your problems. It's not one quick fix solution. You need to work on yourself mentally. You need to be willing to put in the work to make a difference and speak to a trusted coach. That's the one thing I want to say, just to like sum up everything. And there is a solution to everything. But you don't follow, if something worked for your friend, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, even if you have the same issue. You're different people, different life circumstances, different living situations. So find something that works for you.
Thank you, Marah, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
love
me.
You. Thank you for
I love
coming.
you.
Thanks, guys, for listening. I hope you found one thing that you learned today. I'll see you guys next week. I have one more episode until the year ends. Let's go. Bye, y'all.
Bye.